Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 22. Namaste. Welcome, everybody, to another Thursday edition of the Big Chill Podcast, where you'll get our weekly NFL selections. And I'm sure you're about to hear a little later on what our records are. I have a feeling we're getting closer and closer to each other, although Sam was out to a comfortable lead. So I guess we'll start off with you, Sam, since you're numero uno. How's it going over there?
Yeah, it's going pretty well, although going on to the picks, I took a little bit of a battering over the past few weeks.
Former numero uno.
Yeah, I don't think I am anymore. It's almost like we've just aligned now and everything's back to square one.
Yeah, we are. We'll obviously, I think Frank is the only one of us who may not know the exact position of our picks, but we are incredibly close now, the three of us.
Which highlights a spectacular collapse on my part during week 3 and 4.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about a potentially unassailable lead in week 2, and you're close to being in third place now.
It's not unassailable for that reason. Eddie, I'm not a fan of your talk like this, like Liverpool, it's all over if Man City don't beat Leeds, and then they go and lose 7-2. It's
exactly. I'm just reverse. I reverse jinxed you. I reverse jinxed Liverpool. Who do you want me to reverse jinx next? There's no way Trump loses the next election. How about that?
Eddie, speaking of three people being very close together, you informed us that you are out once again, this time with Vasilis and some friends. Do you want to give us, you said you had some good Vasilis stories. So for those who don't know who Vasilis is, then you haven't been to Paris yet, because if you have, you would know him.
Yeah, that is true.
If you've ever been in Paris, you've been hit on by Vasilis.
Yeah.
Man, woman, animal,
child.
Doesn't matter.
You were going to go child.
I mean, he's probably patient 0 for COVID, right? So he's got a lot to answer.
That's the least of his patient 0 issues. That's his least deadly one.
But no, I've seen Vasilis twice this week, and I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, he's probably going to come up in the future anyway, because he is one of the guys who goes to Royal Ascot with us every year. So he's definitely going to come up as a topical story when Royal Ascot comes around. But Vass I've been out with him twice this week, and on both occasions he's brought up the fact that he's started meditating, which, look, I'm all in favor of the meditation. You know, we don't want to get like toxic masculinity on this podcast. Men should embrace mental health way more. They should talk about their problems. So Vass meditating, and then being open about the fact that he's meditating and trying to, deal with his mental state better. That's great. That being said,
I could tell that was the end of the kind of sensible aspect of this story.
That was the end of, all right, let me be nice for 20 seconds.
Just want to, if you're out there and you need help, tell your friends. And if you think meditating would be good for you, go ahead and meditate.
Yeah, now the next bit of advice is not what you want to hear or listen to.
But if you are going to meditate...
The next bit of advice is coming to you from Eddie's 6 shots of vodka at Bugsy's bar.
No, I had the same advice with 0 shots. If you are going to meditate, then maybe when you're walking into a bar with 2 girls, you don't turn around to them and say, Namaste. You are beautiful and strong.
He said that to them about them, or to them about him? Is he saying to himself?
Yeah.
He's now adopted this new. He's adopted he's saying Namaste quite a bit now, but he's also just in general adopted this idea of basically telling people positive mantras throughout the day. This is his new approach to life. So you can imagine he's going to give you like positive reinforcement at different moments of your day. It could be a podcast in about itself. You know what I mean? Like if Vasilis could record himself like 24 times a day, just giving you a positive thought.
He's like, I can imagine like a vast calendar, when you rip off the day and there's a new positive thought.
Which would be remarkably similar to the positive thought from the day before. That would be the thing about it. It's also, to me, I have to like try and picture him through, right, all of the low moments I've seen him in a way. So like if I picture the same Vasilis who I once saw so full that he had to go home and strip off all of his clothes and lie naked on a bathroom floor. And if I imagine that guy, just me walking in on him and him going, Namaste. Namaste. Some days you're too full to move.
How about the time at Royal Ascot he did the same thing? Remember he ate so much he had to like run to get the train to go home so he could go home and like sit on the toilet for 6 straight hours.
Oh, I mean, he's like a dog. I've never seen a human being like it. He would eat till he died.
We went to like Belushi's and he wouldn't stop eating like the wings, and then he had a burger, then he had more wings.
Oh no, I mean, and that was a great. Remember one night he couldn't come out with us. He'd eaten so much that he couldn't leave the apartment. And we all went out.
It was the day after.
Yeah. And we all went out, and then jokingly I texted him like, hey, on our way home, we're passing a KFC. Do you want me to pick something up? And he was like, maybe like a small bucket. I was like, dude, stop it.
But also the concept of a bucket doesn't mean small.
And also that's the same day because we all came back from that bar and it must have been like 2 a.m. We got back, he was awake, and we'd all bought like oven pizzas and some sandwiches and stuff to eat. And he proceeded to eat half an oven pizza, some like garlic dough balls, some like one sandwich, and then a salad.
Oh, at least he's getting his greens.
Oh yeah, very healthy, balanced diet.
Yeah, it's every fried chicken store's nightmare when Vasilis and Furlong walk into the store at 2 a.m. because Furlong gets a dozen drumsticks only. So he depletes the store of all the drumsticks, and then Vasilis gets 2 whole chickons. So between the 3 of them, they're knocking out like
3 of them.
Full,
they just
like
multiply,
3 full chickens.
Oh my God.
So between the 2 of them,
I would say between the 2 of them, you're just getting like a Bonnie and Clyde treatment. So you're getting one of them who comes and like basically holds you up and is like, "Give me all your drumsticks," and then when you don't, he verbally insults, like attacks you. And then the next guy comes and is like, "I'm going to eat all your chicken," and they're like, "No way, you're going to eat all that." He sweet talks you. And then they like bet you like, "No way, you're gonna eat that whole chicken in 10 minutes," and then he does it. So you're really getting the like good cop bad cop treatment between the 2 of them.
What a high low of my life that was, sitting in a random fried chicken shop at 2 a.m, watching the manager bet Vasilis he couldn't eat a whole chicken at 2 a.m, only to see Vasilis down the entire chicken in about 3 minutes and order another.
Yeah, no. To be clear, not to eat a whole chicken, to eat a second whole chicken. That was the bet.
Oh, okay.
The shock was that he'd already eaten a whole chicken in under 10 minutes.
Wait,
oh man!
So a whole fried chicken?
Yeah. He ate, like if you imagine all the chicken shops in London, and you can buy the whole chicken.
I've only seen the components of a chicken. I have not.
Yeah, so take all the components.
Chicken. Oh, as opposed to taking a whole bird and just dumping it.
They give you the whole. No, they give you the whole bird.
It was a rotisserie. I don't think. I think.
Yeah, it was a rotisserie.
I don't think it was fried. I think it was a rotisserie.
Okay. It was a rotisserie chicken.
It was rotisserie and then grilled, not deep fried.
So a little bit healthier.
But they gave
and he said that was one of his statements. Yeah. He was like, "It's okay, Frank. It's healthy. It's not fried."
So he had the whole chicken, right? And he proceeded to eat all of it. He sat down at a table, and this was at like 2:30 in the morning. He sat down at a table and ate the entire chicken in under 6 minutes. And the people working in the shop were like, "Wait, did he just eat the whole chicken?" You're like, "Yeah, and he'll do it again if you'll give him another one for free if he eats it in under 10 minutes. And the guy working there was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And then Vasilis is like, I don't really want to do this. I've eaten enough chicken, but I'll do it if you guys want me to.
Well, of course you're going to say yes to that. Did he eat it like knife and fork or like proper like Henry VIII style?
No, this is with his hands. Yeah, just ripping it, and the ripping and the tearing.
It's a good insight into what working at those places must be like on a late Friday, Saturday night, that you're willing to just bet free chickens to watch someone potentially make themselves vomit.
Oh, I mean, relatively speaking, right? We were their best customers by a mile in the sense that we all were polite and composed ourselves. None of us took a shit on the floor. No one threatened to like glass them. So overall, we were by far, I mean, maybe furlong aside, but overall, we were by far their nicest customers.
We're all in suits also.
Also true, we were all dressed very nicely.
I love for our listeners that aren't in this friendship circle just what this could mean for like how they interpret us as part of it.
I mean, also put into context, right? Vasilis works at a Michelin-starred restaurant, so anyone visiting Paris who wants to get a Michelin-starred experience, just reach out to us by Instagram and we'll put you in touch.
Yeah.
Great restaurant.
Yeah. Great restaurant. You can even see Vas deep throat a chicken.
They have a special deal too, right? So they have the typical Michelin star like taster menus, 13 courses over 2 hours for hundreds of euros. But you can also do the vast special where you just get a whole chicken and you just have to eat it in under 10 minutes or else it costs 1,000 euros.
What a chicken.
But don't worry, it's not fried, so it's healthy.
It's not fried, it's healthy. And it's Greek style, so very, very healthy. Some Greek yogurt with it.
Yeah, it's corn-fed. It's corn-fed chicken. It's fantastic.
Free range.
So is that the whole story? So wait, actually, here's my question: Did he bring the girls with him, or did they walk in and then as they walked in, he namaste'd them and told them they were beautiful?
That would have been another level. No, he knew them already. He brought them with him.
Okay.
But over the course of the evening, he said namaste maybe 20 times, and he also revealed to us we were talking about celebrities, so we were talking about actors. And one moment he was like, the thing with actors, though, is they're all really short. I know this because I used to be in the industry. We were like...
I hope you asked him to qualify that.
I was like, what are you talking about, Vass? And he said, when I was 16 years old, I was a model.
For rotisserie chicken.
He says, I had to give up my modeling career for my basketball career.
That's actually the funny part is he was legitimately good at basketball.
Yeah. No, he was. He actually played for Olympiacos or whatever. So he is actually a really good basketball player. So there's like a modicum of truth in it, but it also just
so maybe he was a pretty good model.
It also just sounds like a Disney movie, like
he's like Zac Efron.
It's like High School Musical. It's
what am I going to be, a model or a basketball player? Like I can't be both. The jocks hate the models.
And then and then he breaks into song as he starts like going through the motions in his head. He starts like clicking his fingers as he's like singing along to it.
He would just be like, "Come on, namaste, guys, right? Like we can all get along. Come on."
Did he clench his hands as he did it, like namaste?
No, he doesn't clench his hands. He does do the
prayer.
He does the prayer hands together.
He does the Tim Cook
namaste
pray hands.
Yes.
Okay, so enlightened Vass obviously, spoke to these ladies. Then what?
Then he was just on another level. I don't know what he'd been drinking all evening, but he was incomprehensible. Even by Vasilis' standards, there were tons of moments where he said things that I just didn't understand at all what he was talking about. He told like a 90-minute long story about his brother getting into a fight. And I mean this honestly, it took 90 minutes. It could have been summed up in about 25 seconds, which I know for 3 people who do a 2-hour-long podcast like twice a week, it's maybe not on us to call out people for not shortening stories. But yeah, he was in prime Vass form tonight. I mean, the namaste thing, right? Like that's in the Hall of Fame Vass moves.
Oh, it's so. I can just picture him just being completely incoherent and just turning around and be like, "Namaste."
Because he started coming out with all these quotes that these girls who are staying with him found to be very funny.
Wait, they're staying with him?
Both of them are staying with him. Yeah.
Are they Greek?
No, they're Canadian.
Interesting. How did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
One of them has met Vasilis when she's visited here before. and they have decided
Define Met.
Yeah.
No, I don't think in that way.
Like Michelin star Met? Or
I think Met friends of friends.
Like eat a chicken or deep throat a chicken, Met.
I think eat a chicken, but not share a chicken. But they have decided to create a Twitter account just for their. I think they're staying with him for 3 weeks, and I think they decided
God.
Yeah, they decided to create a Twitter account where they just send Vasilis quotes, and just from that night they were like literally taking notes on their iPhones of things that he was saying.
Oh, that is priceless.
So I think we'll share that one. We'll share it on our Instagram or on our Twitter. But I think there could be some solid.
What an awesome move by them! I have so much respect for them.
But also the thing is too, because it's Vass, he was totally oblivious to all of this going on. So when at one moment they were like, "Hey, repeat that," and he said again what he said.
You like that one? Was that deep enough for you? Let me repeat it.
Literally, the one girl was just typing it into her like iPhone notes. And I was like, "Are you writing down what he's saying?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to create a Twitter account where we just put his quotes out."
Oh, that's so good.
Admittedly, she did kind of shit on me then by saying like, "Do you have a Twitter account, or are you too old for that?" That was a rough one for me.
Yeah. Oh, you here reliving your glory days?
Exactly. It was nearly Belushi's beer pong all over again.
Oh I love that. I can't believe they're staying with him for 3 weeks. I don't know if I can even stay with Vasilis for 3 days, and I like the guy.
And we've stayed with him for 3 days. It's the advantage they have, right, is they're not trying to motivate him to do things. I legitimately feel as if going on that
what you're talking about.
I feel like going on that annual trip with Vasilis to London is preparing me for children. And it's kind of like the worst case scenario for my children.
I remember when he missed a Eurostar once as well.
Him missing the
Eurostar every time.
Yeah, every time there's an issue, like he stayed out till like 6 a.m. or something like that.
Him missing the Eurostar is actually the least of the problems. That's just the fact that he likes to go out too late. It's more just like when you're with him when we're out, and it's just like, hey, Vass, so 5 of the 6 of us have decided we want to go and do this. Like, for example, when we decided to go and watch the test match, right? And so what was that? Like 7 out of the 8 of us were like, let's go watch the test match. And then
cricket,
20,
by the way.
Cricket test match. And literally 20 minutes into the start of play, we've sat down in our seats. We've maybe watched 2 overs being bowled. And then Vasco's like, all right, guys, I'm bored. We're leaving now. It was just like, no.
He is like a little child. He'll go to a restaurant and he'll just be like, I don't like this restaurant.
They're not like serving chicken nuggets here. I want chicken nuggets.
And he thinks that I'm always like on his side, which I really love. That's like what I love about Vasilis is he's so naive. He's like, come on, Frank's with me. This bar, it's boring. We need to go to like a more fun bar, right, Frank? Frank's with me. And I'm just like, Vasilis, we haven't talked in 30 minutes. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And equally, right, he always thinks that I enjoy like playing the parental role with him. So he kind of like, he says to me afterwards, he's like, no, but deep down you loved it, right? Like you loved telling me we had to stay. I was like, no, Vass, I did. Oh my God,
I think he's got you there, though. I think you do like bossing Vasilis around.
No, I don't. Not in that way, at least.
Yeah. Oh man. So then, how did it end up with him? Well, I guess this is a different story because usually with Vasilis, he's trying to bring girls home with him, but at this point, I guess he's trying to keep them at home. It's a little different.
I mean, this time, right? They don't have a choice. So
That's how Vass wants it.
Exactly. Yeah. The difficulty for him, right, is he wanted to keep going out, and unfortunately, a global pandemic has shut down his normal lifestyle.
Oh, is that what it takes to shut down Vasilis?
Basically, yeah.
No, you can't shut down Vasilis.
A global airborne disease pandemic.
The only thing that can stop him is the thing he starts. You know, it could be like a good tagline to a movie.
Vasilis is patient zero, but will it stop him from going out?
Exactly.
In a world.
Which I guess if we're talking about will things be stopped by the pandemic, I'll have one of my smooth segues as usual. So is the NFL season going to finish?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's too popular. There's too much money involved for it to stop. Will it be the same as it is right now? That is debatable. Maybe they right now are kind of in the back scenes here, trying to put together a little bubble or several mini bubbles and kind of house the teams together like the NHL and the NBA did. Maybe they're working on that right now, behind the scenes. I don't know. But there's no way they stop the NFL. I mean, it would take I honestly don't even know what it would take for them to cancel the NFL season. I could never see it happening.
I mean, so everything coming out of the players, right, is saying that there is no way they are going to agree to a bubble. And also logistically,
they say that, but I don't buy it.
The teams logistically have said a bubble is just not feasible. Because unlike in other sports, like say in basketball, you're talking about putting 30 people into a bubble, 40 people per team. Even in baseball, you're talking about putting, I think, like 60 people into a bubble. But in the NFL, you're talking about putting like 150 people per team into a bubble. It's on a scale that we haven't dealt with up until this point.
Yeah, but the difference is, did you see what they were talking about with the Titans-Bills game now might be canceled? And in this instance, because there's the precedent that apparently the Titans players were out practicing in
These
parks and stuff like that.
workout.
Yeah, that the Titans would have to forfeit that. But the big downside is if the Titans forfeit, then nobody gets paid. Not even the Bills players don't get paid. So if that starts happening, I would love to see how quickly the Players Association changes their tune to not wanting to be in a bubble when they say, okay, you don't want a bubble, then you don't get paid. I'd love to see Beckham have to pay for getting shit on week after week when he doesn't have his payouts from his games.
Oh,
No,
well, is he
Josh
living?
Allen.
Is OBJ like breadline? Is he like
Yeah,
week
he's
by
paycheck
week,
to paycheck.
Yeah, I mean,
He lives paycheck dump by paycheck dump.
You do not know how much it costs, Sam, to have a woman shit on you, but it is surprisingly.
It can't be cheap. It's got to be way more expensive than some of the more traditional things.
unless you just get creative in a lady's bathroom or something. But
Yeah, exactly.
you're just going to be a creep with that one. But
It's like it's a reverse. It's like an inverted glory hole.
Yeah. There's no way that Josh Allen.
why are these legs hanging out of the toilet? Don't worry about it.
Just shit on my chest. But there's no way Josh Allen's sweet mouth is living paycheck to paycheck.
What I don't get about it, right, is it seems a bit inconsistent to me what they actually do. Like Cam Newton test positive, so they delay the game by 2 days? So he's still not going to play. But yet the Titans had, what was it, when it first came out with the Steelers, they had, was it like 4 players test positive or 5? And they
12 in the end, though.
They completely canned the game.
I think it's the number of players, and I think in a
Yeah.
way, I think the issue also with the Titans, which hasn't gone fully public, which also, I guess Frank has like slightly hinted at there too. I think part of the issue with the Titans is that it also appears that they've been in significant breach of the league's protocols, which supposedly too, when you hear them talking about the Patriots now, there are some accusations that Patriots players have been in quite a lot of protocols. Now, the talk is that Stephon Gilmore, who's obviously tested positive this week, he was out to dinner with Cam Newton on the day before Cam Newton's the test went public that he tested positively. So even there, it's up to us to decide as to whether or not Cam Newton at that moment either knew he'd tested positive or at least knew that he'd come into contact with someone. And so whether or not the two of them should have been out to dinner is an issue. But I just
and then the other thing too with the Titans was I heard besides the unauthorized practices, they had also been very lax with their mask wearing around the facilities, and that had come out I think either yesterday or today. That it was kind of no surprise that a bunch of the Titans were testing positive because they really weren't even enforcing mask wearing and other rules that they're supposed to be following.
To be honest with you, that's just obvious from the sheer number of them that tested positive. And this isn't to downplay the seriousness of the virus and the pandemic, But the fact that they were like 12 and then 20 and then whatever, like it was spreading like wildfire through the Titans. It was like, actually, if you are adhering to the protocols, okay, it's going to spread to a couple people, but it shouldn't be, the infection rate shouldn't be like 5R. Like you shouldn't be breaking every record.
With masks and 6 feet apart. Yes. There's no way 80% of your team gets infected.
No. So obviously even just from the testing results, it's like, no, clearly you guys have not been adhering to these rules.
Yeah, it makes you think what's going on in that locker room. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is...
yeah.
But the thing is, like...
Sam's like, I'm going to think about that later.
Probably.
And let's just keep it... Like, he's also going to be like, wait, hold on a second. I thought you could only get it from the mouth or the throat. You can get it from blowing a guy?
Wow. I loved your earlier point about toxic masculinity and things like that earlier. Look, you hypocrite. But the problem is, right?
Mental health issues, Sam. I just want to say, mental health issues.
If you are aligning this with mental health issues, I swear to God.
Men need to take their mental health issues more seriously. If you're having a few dark days, we've all had them. Reach out to a friend. That being said,
Namaste.
That being said, homosexuality is still a sin.
Oh my God!
If you fall into that category, don't reach out to a friend. At least, certainly not a male friend.
I wonder what the boundaries are on this podcast now. Is that the lid off?
Oh, now that Say It have stopped sponsoring us, I think we got no boundaries.
I thought you said that Say It have started. Like now we can be really homophobic.
That opinion is of Eddie's own mouth, brought to you by 12 shots of vodka from Bugsy's.
Yeah.
How many shots was it, Eddie?
Only 3. That opinion was brought to you by Jaeger. Jaeger. Drink right, drink strong.
Ride the wave. But so
when you're sad,
I looked at the list.
Have a shot of Jaeger. You'll feel a bit better.
It's quite literal, that advertising line. But the thing is, right, I looked at it and it was the Falcons, the Pats, the Chiefs, and the Raiders and the Titans have all produced positive test results. So even if teams are adhering to the rules, that's the thing with this virus, right? There might be so many like incidental ways of getting it, accidental ways of getting it, that even the strictest procedures that the NFL have put in maybe aren't enough. And the problem is people are always going to be getting this virus now. And I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago when the Titans thing first came out. It was like, at some point, the NFL is going to have to make a pretty big decision on whether they just lock down the league for a couple of weeks or have to keep going with this really arbitrary piecemeal kind of like, oh, one person tested positive, so let's delay the game 2 days. Oh, we still don't know about this game even like 2 days before it's kicking off. It seems a bit too arbitrary and piecemeal at the moment, so no one can really plan for it. So I think at some point they're going to have to like stop the league if tests keep going the way they are, or isolate clubs and stop them from playing.
I mean, in a way, I have 2 issues. I think one, in a sense, the league was maybe a victim. I think complacency maybe set in because they went through 4 weeks without any positive tests, basically. And I think in a way that was bad for them. They needed 1 or 2, even if they'd been sort of not non-high profile players. It would have helped just to be like, look, guys, there is still a risk of you testing positive. And so particularly for the high profile players, you need to continue to be very strict on how you behave. So I think the one good news in a sense is here early in the season, you're going to get a reminder for teams, and particularly for teams who think they're going to be playoff and Super Bowl challengers. This is going to be a big reminder of you need to behave properly. The one thing I will say from the scheduling perspective, the league, I don't get why they scheduled this like a normal season and why they didn't basically say like, we're going to be in a situation where for sure we're going to have to postpone games. So why don't we put in multiple bye weeks? That is a bye week for every team. And that way, if we have to postpone a week 6 game, it's going to get played in the like week 8 bye week that everyone has. And instead now you have obviously every team has their 1 bye week, but in different weeks. So you can't just reschedule a game that easily. You're going to have to add it on to the end of the season, which, okay, kind of works. They're just going to have to delay the playoffs and delay the Super Bowl. They can do that. But it would have been so much easier to just come into the season saying like, look, the reality is we're probably going to have to delay a game for almost every team here. Let's put a bye week in week 7 for every team and a bye week in week 14 for every team. And that way, if you don't have any delayed games, you're going to get a bye week. And if you do have a delayed game, that's when you're playing it.
I don't know. The Pats one seemed the most curious to me because someone tests positive. All of the players in the coaching team would have been at some point in close contact with Cam Newton. And the advice is for those people to isolate I think it's the same in the US as the UK. So you're meant to isolate for a period of 14 days. So because the symptoms can come like 3 or 4 days after, they can come right away, etc. So it seems a bit confusing to me that they had one high profile player that's training with everyone, interacting with everyone, and just delayed the game by 2 days, therefore meaning that all of the players and coaching staff are still interacting and mingling with each other even after they've met Cam. So it just seemed a bit dumb for me, the NFL's decision just to postpone it. It should have just been a case of doing what they did with the Titans and just going, right, it's done.
Yeah, and also the thing that I find anyway, right, because every league has all these protocols. Strictly, you see the players, they don't high five, they either do like air high fives or they do the elbow bumps, or at most they're doing fist bumps and stuff. You watch Roland Garros right now, right? At the end of the match, they don't shake hands. They hit their tennis rackets together and stuff. Even doubles partners in between points, they sort of hit their tennis rackets. And at those moments, I'm like, hold on a second, these guys are like playing together all the time. Is not touching hands in between points going to be the thing that stops them from contracting the virus? And then, so you have all these things, which on the face of it look great. And then equally, I'm watching the A's Astros game last night. And the A's have an Australian relief pitcher who might be the best closer in baseball right now. And so his name is Liam Hendricks. And after he pitched in their wild card round, I think he pitched like 50 pitches around there as in relief, which is a lot of pitches. The manager of the Astros came in and told him it was a Herculean performance. And either because this guy is too stupid or because he thought the manager was making a good joke, he said, "Oh, I thought he said Herculeum." And he thought, so already that was a bad sign for this guy. But then the guy said, "Oh no, after I come in relief and we win a game, as a tradition within the clubhouse, we have a putting contest at the end of games. And when we win and I've pitched, I do the putting contest in the nude." And so even now, with all the COVID restrictions and stuff, when the A's win a game and Liam Hendricks is pitched, he goes back into the clubhouse, strips nude, grabs a putter, and gets into this like 10-foot putting contest.
That's a very bizarre tradition.
I don't even get the putting contest in general. And then you add on the nudity, then I really don't understand it. Putting contest,
unless he's getting into the nude and he's maybe Eddie, it's the putting contest and he gets into the nude and he becomes the cup.
I mean, here's the thing is I maybe get the putting contest that you're looking for some like competitive way to kind of cool down a little bit and kind of celebrate. I could get on board if I was on a baseball team and they were like, look, after a game, we do a putting contest.
And get naked.
I'd be in on it. But if one guy came out and he was just like stark naked, I'd be like, nah, I'm out. I'm really sorry. I know we shower together. I know we change next to each other. I know I see you naked all the time. Like
but we don't putt naked.
But I don't watch you line up a putt with your dick just hanging between your legs.
Now, do you think he does the whole lineup? Do you think he gets behind it and like squats down? He gets on the ground at all fours and like looks down on the surface.
I mean, maybe that's the secret, right? You know how modern, like the caddies, they do that thing where they walk down the putt and they kind of like put their feet there and they're like trying to feel the slope in the feet. Maybe for him, he goes there and he just like looks down on his dick and he just sees like what angle it's hanging at. And he's like, oh, this one's easy. This one's breaking like 1 inch to the left, slightly downhill. I got this one.
Modern golfing, I can't keep up.
He's like,
wouldn't be surprised if DeChambeau tries that out next week.
He's like, the balls tell me the left to right, and the dick tells me the slope.
What an oddly in tune penis and testicles that guy has.
Now, the interesting thing to throw into this is
new spin on clairvoyant.
Yeah, he gets the lay of the land like he's at Augusta the week before. Just I'm just kind of getting the lay, making sure the dick and balls are okay with the line.
Well, here's
we got another naked guy running on the 18th at Augusta. No, that's just Liam. He's just scouting the greens.
Just mapping him out.
And then he gets it onto an app. And then so instead of the app that's the 3D contour of the greens, it's just his naked balls and dick. He just plop them anywhere on the green. Interactively, how you can pick that little guy up in Google Maps and put him on the map. It's like that, except you're just taking his genitalia and popping it on the green.
The thing with him that's interesting, this might make it either more surprising or less surprising. I think it's less surprising from the personality standpoint, but more surprising based off his career, is that he's Australian.
So what is it got to do with getting naked and putting? I don't get it.
Is it more to do with the fact that he's a baseballer that's Australian?
So the fact that he's arguably the best closer in baseball makes the fact that he's Australian surprising. The fact that he is embraces his nudity and is just kind of a lad and strips naked at any opportunity seems kind of normal for an Australian. So there's a balance there. In a way, the nudity is more explained, by him being the quirkiest guy in the locker room, gets explained by the fact that he's Australian.
So but Australians are known for their nudity.
Oh yeah,
are they?
Yeah. Go stay at a hostel anywhere in Europe, and you'll see a bunch of nude Australians. Go to Belushi's, you're going to see a bunch of them.
Okay, I'm on it. I'll take Jake just to see how angry he gets or uncomfortable.
But you know where you're not going to see a lot of nude Australians usually? In Major League Baseball clubhouses.
So we were talking about COVID. I don't know how we got on to it was to do with the oddity of the spreading of the virus, right?
Whether or not they're adhering, because it's obviously it's juxtapositioning the fact that they're saying Liam Hendricks is going in and stripping naked and taking part in a pitching contest putting contest.
If only it was a pitching contest.
Yeah. He's pitching something.
You have to then consider that at the same time, everyone in baseball is wearing a mask at almost all times if they're not playing. So you have a manager coming out to talk wearing a mask. And it's okay, you're going through all of this publicly, but then as soon as you get into the locker room, someone's stripping naked and you're all grabbing the same putter, and, so to speak.
Yeah, I bet.
Playing tummy sticks.
Is that what they call it at Penn State?
No, it's actually Wedding Singer reference.
Well, what do they call it at Penn State then? you said
sticks.
Just tummy sticks. Still tummy sticks.
Still tummy sticks.
Yeah.
But we didn't originate. We didn't start it.
So, okay. I mean, with that in mind, NFL. So we might as well go through some of our picks, right?
So I'll give you the rundown of the standings, and then Sam, obviously, you can give us all of this week's spreads. So coming into this week, Sam had a pretty sizable lead still. He was still up in front, but he fared the worst of us. So this week, I went 11-4 straight up, 8-6-1 against the spread. Frank, you went 12-3 straight up, but also 8-6-1 against the spread. And Sam went 9-6 straight up and 6-8-1 against the spread.
Ooh, how the mighty fall!
So the overall
how the turntables turn.
I am almighty.
The overall standings are remarkably close now, because now the overall standings, I am 45-17-1 straight up. Sam is 42-20-1 straight up. And 42-20-1 straight up, and Frank is 40-22-1 straight up. So that's all pretty close. Could change within a week. Against the spread, I am 34-27-2. Sam is also 34-27-2, and Frank, you are 32-29-2. So we are between the three of us. We are separated by 2 games, but at the same time, all over 500. Yeah,
Nice, love it.
Got to stick with the big chill. We know the spreads.
Yeah,
it's not bad for all of us to be, sort of comfortably above 500. Right? It's not a game to be comfortably above 500. It's not bad after 4 weeks.
Quarter of the season already done.
So, with that in mind, we've got tonight's game. We've got the Bucks.
Shit, we do.
We've got the Bucks at the Bears. Both 3-1. And
but one team's really 3-1. The other team is just a fake 3-1.
Yeah. So at the moment, it surprised me. The Bucks have got 3.5 point favorites, and I've had 2 terrible weeks. So I tried to look at my picks a bit more, what I was doing in the first 2 weeks, but also trying to look a bit more at the numbers and the simple stats for this game. I was a bit surprised that the Bucks were only 3.5 points, because when you look at it, the Bucks were 8th in offense compared to the Bears, who are 22nd in offense. And then in defense, they line up about the same. So they're 9th and 8th respectively. But for me, that massive amount of offense like that the Bucks are generating at the moment is worthy of 3.5 points. So that's the reason I'm going Bucks and to cover that 3.5 point spread.
I agree with you. I was kind of surprised by how small this spread was, and it's actually it's grown smaller over the week. So I think when the line opened, the Bucks were like 5-point favorites, and it's gradually moved to 3.5. So obviously, money over the course of the week is coming for the Bears. I don't really get that. I kind of agree with you. I think the Bears brought some bad juju onto themselves with the Mitch Trubisky benching. I think they're going to look back on this. This could be the curse of the Bambino, right? Like, this might be 80 years of hell for the Bears here.
80 years for a benching of Trubisky.
Exactly.
That's such a harsh penalty.
If only they knew. If only they knew.
We'll call it the Trubisky turbulence. And there, I don't see any reason. It's hard for me to pick an area of this where the Bears are the better team, which that's kind of always a little bit what you touched on there. I think that's always one of those things when you're looking at a game, like where are they going to win it? And I kind of look at it like offensively, the Bucks are better. Defensively, the Bucks are better. Even if statistically, throw out the stats because you're 4 weeks in. So even if you adjust it for your opponents, it's still kind of the sample size is so small that it's difficult to tell. I think when you watch the eye test on both of them, I feel the Bucks are a significantly better team. That being said, 2 quarters into the Bucks, well, not even midway through the second quarter in that Bucks game, I probably would have felt a little bit differently about the Bucks on Sunday, and it wasn't until they had the defensive turnover, like forced the turnover right before the half, that they kind of really flipped on the game that they had. But the positive way to look at it, I mean, Brady his stats were a little bit misleading. He, in the end, threw for a lot of yards. He threw multiple touchdown passes to different receivers. Like, on paper, everything looks good. When you were watching it, it maybe looked like he was a little bit past his best, which is kind of the Brady of the last couple of years. I'll also kind of round this off by just saying Brady on a nationally televised game, I'm not picking against Brady until he really starts to shit the bed consistently. So I'm not taking Brady to lose on a Thursday night game against the Bears until I start to really think the Bucks are not all that they're made out to be.
So they're covering the spread for you, yeah?
Covering the spread and winning, yeah.
Okay. Duca?
Yeah. I think exactly the same. They'll cover and they'll win outright. I mean, the Bears defense has been pretty decent. The stat, I know Eddie said throw out the stats, but the stat I saw that was pretty interesting was they've held quarterbacks to a 74.4 QB rating, which is pretty low.
The Bears?
The Bears have, yeah.
Yeah, but who have they played?
They played the Colts.
Oh yeah, they played the Colts. They probably got lucky in that one, in the sense of how
they did nothing.
Yeah, they played the Eagles, right?
They played the Colts. They played Atlanta, so they played Matt Ryan, and they played Wonderkin Daniel Jones.
Okay, so a walking corpse.
And Stafford.
Okay, sorry, I mistook the Eagles for the Lions.
So
It's
Stafford,
not,
Matt Ryan, and Phillip Rivers. They're not terrible QBs.
but it's
Like
not
if it
exactly.
were all Daniel Jones, then I'd agree.
But it's also not a murderer's row of QBs.
No, it's
like
not. But it's
there's no
better than I thought it would have been. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't think their defense was playing well at all, really.
There's no elite QBs in there though.
Yeah.
And there's no good teams in there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still think that
with the exception of the Colts. I'll put the Colts in the good category, but they've played one playoff team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean the other thing you have to look at too is then flip the script. Their offense is nowhere near as good as the Bucs defense.
Should we say frail?
So,
are they the frail offense?
No, I think frail probably implies that they are good, but very could easily not be good, and that isn't the Bears.
Is Big Dick Nick a little frail? Has his dick been worn down over the years, and it's not quite as
man, you're coming in hard with the D word.
not quite as rock solid as it used to be. And hey, that's the
all right, Sam. What's the next game?
No. Hold on. I mean, that brings up too, right? That's the storyline.
I'm not finished.
That's the storyline from this game, right? This is a Super Bowl rematch of quarterbacks on different teams.
No, that's true. That's actually a pretty good one.
Which is a reason why even more confidence in the Patriots, because Brady has the Foles. He's had the Foles picture on his wall all week, just kind of throwing darts into it, and just furious. Being like, no way am I losing to this guy again.
Furious.
So I assume, Frank, you're taking the Bucs and covering, yeah?
Bucs. Yep.
All right. Next game, I didn't actually have any notes on this because I just think it's a simple one, is Cardinals at the Jets. And the Cardinals are 7-point favorites. And I mean, they've just said that Darnold's out, right? So not that mattered or meant anything, but that was the only news I saw. So who is the starting QB now for the Jets?
Joe Flacco, my friend.
It's Flacco, isn't it?
That could potentially scare me more than Sam Darnold being the QB.
It kind of scares me.
Yeah. But here's the issue, right? Sam Darnold's out, and in addition to that, the O-tackle, the rookie that they got, Becton from Louisville, he's also out. So now you're putting in, shall I call him frail, Joe Flacco, in at QB without his cornerstone tackle to protect him against a Cardinals team who played terrible last week. So they're going to be hungry. I don't see this working out well for Flacco. I think the Cards will rebound. I think this is a good game for them to rebound. I think they'll win. And what spread are you giving me, Sam?
7.
Yeah, I'll take the Cards still. Okay. Might get a push out of that, but I'll still take it.
Yeah, as you both know, I've not been high on the Cards all year. I kind of was trying to tell people to temper their expectations. I think the expectations have been sufficiently tempered over the past couple of weeks through the Cards, underwhelming performances. And if anything, the disappointing fact as a Niners fan is their week 1 defeat to the Cards has aged very, very badly. But yeah, we've kind of spoken about each week. I'm not picking against the Jets. I'm not picking in favor of the Jets against an remotely decent team until they show something better. Flacco scares me a little bit, but I'll definitely take the Cardinals to win. 7 points feels about right to me, but I'm still going to take the Cardinals to cover.
Okay. Next one, do you want to just do money line with Bills Titans in case it plays? I haven't seen any spreads. There's been no spreads all through the week. I imagine people have got projected lines and stuff like that, but I haven't bothered to look at them. So, I mean, would we all go Bills with this one if they did play? It's so random.
It's impossible. It's impossible to say.
So it was just announced literally like a minute ago. Titans Bills are being moved to Tuesday.
Okay.
As long as there are no more positive tests.
So we can make that pick on Monday. But I'll say now, I'm taking the Bills to win, particularly because I'm assuming the Titans are going to be missing some players even on Tuesday, that they're not going to be at full strength, and they definitely won't have practiced as much as you would hope that they would have. So I'm definitely taking the Bills, but in terms of picking against the spread, I guess we can pick that on Monday night.
I don't get it, right? So 22 players, or what is it, 24 members of the Titans team, coach, staff, everyone, have tested positive for COVID, and yet their decision to delay it by 2 days is going to somehow improve that?
Well, I guess what
the
key thing they look for is it's the same with the Pats Chiefs game that they moved by 24 hours. The key thing they want to see is no more positive tests. So basically they feel comfortable playing the game once they stop seeing positive tests in the team. And so in the case of this game, I'm assuming what they're hoping to see is that the Titans have no more positive tests, and from whatever combination of their existing squad plus practice squad, they can put up like some sort of team and play the game. And it's even more reason to be confident in the Bills. And I guess you could say if the Bills end up playing that game on the Tuesday, that's a great win for the Bills in that it's not like the thing that was unfortunate for the Steelers is they kind of got like an unplanned bye week. So you didn't really get to take advantage of it. In this instance, you'll have got extra week to kind of rest and prepare, like extra couple days. You're going to get to play a weakened Titans. So in a sense, a weakened, what everyone expects to be a playoff team. Now the downside is going to be, are the Bills and the Titans then supposed to play again the following Sunday? So they're going to have a really short week. So that's going to suck for them. They're going to have a 5-day week for their following game. I don't know on the schedule who they're supposed to play, but that's not going to be ideal. But yeah, you have to like the Bills more this week.
Yeah, I've put Bills in.
So yeah, I'll put Bills in. But while we're on this, because Josh Allen being a potential MVP candidate, since we can do our still too early to decide.
Hold on, just to say, according to the current schedule, the Bills would be playing the Thursday night game against the Chiefs.
Oh no, that got pushed back as well already.
Okay.
I saw that. That got pushed back to, I think it said the 18th maybe or something like that.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Tennessee,
so that's
Tennessee are decimating.
Oh, here it's scheduled for Sunday, October 18th.
Okay, so a normal Sunday game.
Yeah,
the Titans are decimating this league.
So basically, potentially, there's no Thursday night game next Thursday.
Yeah, great.
Okay,
Thursday night games suck anyway.
Well, that's the thing, though. Bills Chiefs would have been a great Thursday night game.
It would have been awesome. You're right. All right, so even better because Mahomes is in the conversation as well as an MVP. So I've put together. I'm going to share my screen here with the boys. I'll also put this up on Instagram before the episode comes out, so you can go to our Instagram and look at it if you want as well. So I'm sharing with you, I think 6 or 7 potential MVP candidates with their names concealed and their stats. So you have their record overall. I only took people who were either 4-0 or 3-1 because I took like the first 5 or 6 people in the MVP race, not quarterbacks only. I didn't include Alvin Kamara. Their record for the teams they've played against, and then completions, yards, touchdowns, interceptions, adjusted yards per attempt, their rating, their QBR, number of sacks, number of fourth quarter comebacks they've had, which I think should be considered when you're an MVP candidate if you're actually leading your team to comebacks, game-winning drives, and then rushing yards, rushing TDs, first down runs, and fumbles. So out of these ones, now that you've looked at it,
am I supposed to be trying to figure out who's who, or am I
No.
supposed to just pick?
I want you to tell me out of just off the stats here, who do you think should be the MVP?
Stats.
Granted, I'm sure you can kind of figure out who's who if you kind of know your stats well enough.
Yeah, I have a reasonable guess as to who's who.
Yeah.
And I also feel like I know who the person I would want. I think statistically based on this, I'm going to take D.
You're going to take D.
And I think
I know who you think it is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know who D is.
I think I want to take B. And I think I know who it is just because the rush yards is so little.
So okay. I guess I'll say I think D is Josh Allen.
And I think B is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so wait, so you're going B and Eddie's going D. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a reveal. So I pick. Okay.
Okay, so you picked Josh
What a
Allen.
surprise!
So I picked
Sam
Josh Allen.
picked Josh Allen.
Even a blind test, he can't resist him.
And Eddie has picked Russell Wilson. I
Sam
thought you would be
has-
able to pick out Russell Wilson because he's got the 16 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that's true. I should have noticed. I kind of looked actually more at the. I was kind of looking more towards the record against and the game-winning drives and stuff.
Yeah.
All we can say is Sam has like a Liam Hendricks dick, but for picking out Josh Allen. Even in a dark room, he'd be able to sense him.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll put this up on Instagram, but the first four, which are Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, if you take out the names, their stats are almost impossible right now to really pick apart a clear winner. I mean, you have Josh Allen, who has 2 game-winning touchdown drives. I mean, that is almost the definition of an MVP, someone who, leads the team to the victories and is 4-0. Versus, someone like Aaron Rodgers, whose QBR is 93, which is insane. That's an insane QBR. And then you have Mahomes, who's 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, 100 yards rushing, and a touchdown rushing, which is pretty impressive as well. The thing I will say, Lamar Jackson, his stats are not looking good this year. Passing yards are down. TDs are down. His QBR rating is above average at best. 3 fumbles. He's not looking so great.
235 rushing
the concerning stat, I guess, if you look at this, and I guess there's an element of mobile quarterback versus non-mobile, right? Because if you look at Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, and Lamar Jackson, you've got 9 sacks, 11 sacks, 11 sacks.
Yeah.
And that might be the one when you're trying to project what their performance will be like over the course of the season. Would be like if you keep getting sacked at that rate, the other stats are going to decline.
Yeah.
So in a way,
what surprised me is Josh Allen only has 15 yards rushing.
Yeah, that is surprising. I feel like I've watched him have more than 15 yards rushing.
I'm assuming, though, the yards rushing,
you lose it
with sacks. I think so.
9 sacks, you're losing a few, and he's probably lost like 5 or 6 yards sometimes, like rolling out and getting hit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really look at it, I know obviously I picked D, Russell Wilson, as the one I like the most. But when you do really look at it so far, Aaron Rodgers kind of has the best performance. It's different, like 0 interceptions, 13 touchdowns.
I would give it to either Rodgers or Allen right now. It would be close.
Yeah.
Allen has the more game-winning drives, and he's playing against a better record of teams. Like, that's what scares me about Russell Wilson is the Seahawks are 4-0, but combined record of all their teams they've played is 4-12. I mean, that's pretty shitty. Yeah,
that being said, right, when you're 4 games in and you've won all 4 games, you've guaranteed that the best combination, like the best possible record of your opponents could be 12-4. 12-4.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best outcome. So it's not that weird that he's playing against teams that are 4-12 because it just means that they've lost one out of 3 games against their other opponents. It's not crazy. Or lost, won one of the 3. So it's a tight race.
Yeah, it's so far it's a really interesting year. You have the old man and Rodgers trying to hang with the young guns of Allen, Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. I guess is probably in the middle there somewhere.
It's also going to be a tough thing is because it's always going to come down to too of like how do you define MVP, which is one of those things you have to worry about each year. It's like, do you find MVP as the best player in the league? Do you find MVP as a player who like dragged his team to a higher performance? Because in a way, you would say on paper, if all of these people keep it up, there's kind of no way Mahomes should be MVP just because the team around him is so stacked. But I will say, given that, if you watch the games with Mahomes, the reason the Chiefs are winning right now is because Mahomes is literally carrying them for most of it. Like there's some of these games you watch, like the third and the fourth quarter, they're not winning very strongly. And then Mahomes just starts doing these crazy things and gets them drive after drive to score. Yeah, but you could argue, Frank, that he's underwhelming for 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, he like goes like, okay, guys, let's turn this on and win it. And they do it. And then it's like, oh, wow, what an amazing fourth quarter from Patrick Mahomes. So, well, if you'd played 4 good quarters, you would have crushed them in the same way that Aaron Rodgers is crushing people over 4 quarters. Like Aaron Rodgers isn't keeping games close and then kind of putting the nail in the coffin in the final drive.
If you do the shittiest team with if you do the player is carrying the shittiest team to a good record argument, then I think you have to give it to Rodgers.
Rodgers
out
or
of
Wilson.
out of those 4, yeah. But Wilson has DK Metcalf.
Wilson has weapons around him, but his defense is so bad that he is literally going into games being like, if I don't put up 35 points, we're losing.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of feeling.
I would say Rodgers or Wilson.
Like mentally, you would almost feel the pressure as Wilson. Like in the first quarter of like, if we are not scoring points on almost every drive, we're in huge trouble here. And none of those other quarterbacks could actually say that, like on that entire list.
Dak Prescott wasn't on that list, but he could probably share a similar sentiment.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Dak Prescott, he's cost them games at the same time.
Yeah, and he's 1-3.
Yeah. I mean, he's unfortunate. Like he could have been a spin if he hadn't had the interception against the Seahawks, and even I guess that's the real blow for him. If he hadn't had that, you could have tried to spin that. Even with a 1-3 record, he was on MVP pace in terms of his individual performance. But that was the moment where you're like, well, if you're going to be MVP, you have to have the drive that ties the game. If you don't produce that, too bad. And so to throw the pick that ends the game, it's like, no, too bad.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the picks. But I thought that was just interesting putting that together without the names to see what you guys would pick.
All right. Next one's a good game, or a good matchup, in my opinion, is Panthers at the Falcons. And surprisingly, Falcons are 1-point favorites. So basically, it's a tie game, right? It's a toss-up. Frank?
This is a tough one, just because for some reason, I don't know why, I refuse to give up on the Falcons. I watch them every week because I always end up betting on them and they disappoint and I have to watch them lose bombastically. One could use the word. I mean, they were killed by Green Bay. I mean, that was painful to watch. The Falcons couldn't stop Rodgers at all. Anything Rodgers wanted to do that game, he did. The Panthers, on the other hand, looked their best game of the year this year, playing the Cardinals and beating them up pretty good. I mean, again, that was another game I watched because that was my only loss in my teaser. And the Cardinals never looked like they were going to win that game. They could not stop Teddy Bridgewater. And if they keep that same game plan, I think they'll beat them. So what is the spread?
1. This doesn't sound like you're on the Falcons. This sounds like sentimentally you're on the Falcons.
Yeah,
spread is 1.
So you're picking the winner, basically, unless you are very bold.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go with the below ones.
I'll put it this way, Frank. If you pick the Falcons to win but not cover, and they win by a point, we will declare you the winner of this picking contest.
That would be monumentally impressive.
We'll move the spread. We'll move the spread. Hold on, Frank. I'll give you the spread. We'll move it to 1.5 for you so that you could win on the Falcons No, we'll move it to 0.5 so that you win if the Falcons only win by 1.
No, 1.5. 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah.
So you win if the Falcons only win by 1. We'll move it to that. And if you want to thread the needle that closely, you win it outright.
So is it Falcons minus 1.5?
Yeah. So we'll tease the line another half a point to give you that opportunity to say.
I will say the Falcons win, but the Panthers cover the spread of 1.5.
I got him to take the bait, Sam. I got him. It's so easy.
I love it. Easy. Okay. I mean, I'm going. I'm going Panthers here. I like what Frank was saying about the Cardinals game. What was good about it, though, is that they kept Kyler Murray, I think, to only about 133 yards. I know he got 3 touchdowns, but that's good pass defense as far as I'm concerned. And they're going up against the Falcons, which are basically just one giant train wreck when it comes to giving away yards at the moment and with defense. So I don't think they'll be able to stop Bridgewater. I think, if anything, he's averaging a pretty consistent 260, 280. And with the Falcons, that will just go up. I think this is a pretty easy one for me, actually. So I'm going Panthers. And obviously, I think they'll cover. I guess I say that they're covering the 1.5 now. It's not like a Frank special, the 1.5.
Yeah, we'll give you its collective 1.5.
Okay.
27-26 Falcons. You heard it here first.
All right, this might be the end of this bet if Frank nails this.
What are you going, Eddie?
So I think I'm going to have to switch my IV this week. So I think based on the Vikings matchup, I'm not sure I can hook myself up directly to Kirk Cousins. I think it's risky. I think I emptied the IV bag last week. I think I'm going to have to restock on Kirk Cousins a week from now to keep fighting this pandemic. And so I think I'm going to have to medicate this week with a little bit of Matty Ice. And I'm going to take the Falcons. And this week's IV bag is going to be filled with the essence of Matt Ryan.
You haven't even said blood. You've said essence.
Essence.
It's pure essence, yeah.
Okay. So are they covering the 1.5?
Yeah, I think so. It's a difficult one, right? Because the Panthers, in a way, we all wrote them off when Christian McCaffrey went out and they have other injuries, and you kind of just well, season over. And their season is over in the sense that they're not going anywhere. But they are surprisingly frisky, as they've shown over the past couple of weeks. And we've touched on in an earlier week when we talked about the Saquon Barkley situation and drafting a running back high and overpaying running backs. Is the Panthers arguably being better without Christian McCaffrey just another nail in the coffin of the concept of having an elite running back?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good argument because we talked about this a few weeks ago. I am a believer that good systems can put just about any running back in and they can do well. Now, having said that, is Christian McCaffrey going to be a little extra better than his replacement? Yes, I think so. But in terms of the overall output he's going to have for for the team, like in the team's ability to win, I don't think getting an extra 30, 40 yards a game is going to win them more games. Whereas if you just have a good system that any type of running back can be successful, that's what's going to win you the games. And I still, to this day, the Steelers are the prime example. You can put any running back into that Steelers team and they will almost average 100 yards rushing and have some nice catches and get some nice touchdowns because Tomlin just has a good running team no matter what. And I think this is another example you're getting now.
Yeah. We said it too, right? Like I said, the Niners, not to plug the Niners, but the Niners are a good example.
Niners Nation.
They can have Niners Nation. Go to it, check it out. See my podcast on Niners Nation every Wednesday. But you can just plug in, with Shanahan, you can plug and play a running back and running back by committee, and the combined they're going to pick up 100 to 150 yards and a touchdown. And
having said that, McCaffrey still has the most yards on the team at 156.
And also the thing with McCaffrey too is he's not just a running back, and he's also actually their best receiving weapon typically. So in a way, you could say that you could convert Christian McCaffrey from a running back to, say, a slot receiver, and he'd probably be their best wide receiver.
What a slap in Robbie Anderson's face, Eddie.
Yeah, I've just whipped Liam Hendrick's dick out and just put it right across his face.
As soon as Frank said that, I knew you were going to bring a dick into that.
Yeah. He's got it on the mind. Let's be serious. He just hung out with Vasilis, so we know why he's got it on the mind.
Namaste.
Oh, by the way, guys,
Namaste.
It's been a while. Namaste.
I hope you're having a rested and peaceful day listening to our podcast.
I hope the second half of our podcast is as great as the first half has been, guys.
Sam, I just want to tell you, you're a strong, beautiful man.
A strong, independent man.
Not independent. You're codependent.
I'm saying you're a strong, codependent. You're a strong, needy man. Great. All right. So I just had to recheck that because I looked at the Panthers Falcons and we've both taken the 1.5 there, Frank. So just wanted to triple check that you're doing the 1.5.
Yep.
Okay. I love the next game. Bengals at Ravens, and the Ravens are 12.5 favorites. Now,
oh, that sweet mouth. Sweet mouth.
I am saying it now. Baltimore are winning this game, but they are not covering that spread.
I knew that was coming.
So there's a bit of history in it. There's a bit of history in it in the fact that they don't lose that badly, the Bengals. Every time they've lost this season, they haven't lost that badly. If they win this, then technically they're 2-1-1, which isn't bad. Sorry, if they win this, they'll be
2-2-1.
2-2-1, sorry, yeah, which isn't that bad. But also the thing is,
they've yet to lose against the spread, right?
Yeah, they've yet to.
They had the one push.
They
had the one push. Yeah.
So the thing is, I think they're getting better every week. I think Burrows is putting up a pretty good partnership with Boyd and Mixon. But also, I looked at the Ravens, and the thing that's going against the Bengals is that their run defense is pretty bad, which is ultimately probably what's going to cost them in this game massively. But the thing is, one of the issues that Burrows has been having is that the amount of sacks that he's letting up.
And sex? Did you just say?
No, sacks, you donut. Yeah, he's letting up too much sex.
The issue that Joe. The big issue that Joe Burrow has is he doesn't know how often Sam is picturing having sex with him.
Brilliant. But the thing is, right, the Ravens have only got 9 sacks in 4 games. And so I think Burrows is going to have more time. And I think that's going to help him. And I think the Ravens will win, but I just don't think they're going to win by 13 or more. So I'm going Ravens, but I think the Bengals will cover that spread.
I am going to disagree with you here a bit in that whilst the Ravens have not had a ton of sacks so far, they've been up against QBs who are maybe not always the easiest to sack. And now they're up against the QB who is arguably, not because of his own personal performance, but because of the line protecting him, the easiest to sack in the league. And I think they're absolutely going to make hay this week. So I think the amount of pressure the Burrow is under is going to be even more than he's faced in previous weeks.
Okay.
The big question mark here is Lamar Jackson, and will he play? Because he's missed 2 days of practice so far.
The first time in his career he's sat out back-to-back days.
You bringing this up? Why?
Yes, but when you read the reports, the Ravens are saying they're not concerned that he won't play. But obviously when you do have a quarterback, particularly a knee injury, which is what he's missing playing time for, and when you have a mobile quarterback like him, you have to have an element of concern that A, will he play? B, if he plays, will he be limited? Will he, in terms of what he does normally? And C, if he does get hit when running with the ball, are you looking at the prospect of him being taken out of the game early? And also, even with a spread as high as this, 12.5 points, are you even just looking at Ravens are up by 18 at the beginning of the 4th, and RG3 comes in? So even if he's fully healthy, are you maybe looking at Lamar getting pulled earlier in the game and how that could impact a spread as high as this? All that being said, I'm very confident that the Ravens will win. As Frank knows, I picked them in the survivor pool that we do. I've picked the Ravens as my pick this week. So I'm considering them in a sense my safest pick of the week in terms of just straight up winning. 12.5 is high. But assuming that Lamar Jackson plays, I'm going to take the 12, and the Ravens are going to cover.
When you say assuming he plays, I'm not going to give you a change of pick if he doesn't.
No. I'm gambling on the fact that he plays in terms of making that pick. And so arguably I would say in a way the safer pick is taking the points, because if he doesn't play and say you're getting 12.5 points, can RG3 cover 12.5 points? Becomes a little bit questionable.
Can RG3 score 12.5 points?
No, RG3 is going to put on a show.
Eddie, if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, how much less confident are you in your survivor pick?
It doesn't change my confidence in them straight up winning all that much, actually, because I think the mismatch is everywhere else. I actually don't think the quarterback is that big of an issue there.
Okay. I'll take the Ravens to win, but I am all on the Sam Bengal train, and I am taking the Bengals to cover.
You say Bangle?
Bengal.
Well, it sounded like you said the Sam Bangles train.
Who's he?
You start playing Walk Like an Egyptian or something there.
So you're going Bengals to cover 12.5.
Yeah.
So bit of breaking news: the Broncos-Pats game has been moved to Monday.
You're going to have such a stacked midweek schedule.
Oof, I love it. The only thing better than football on Sunday, Monday is football on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
The only killer I just wish we talked about this coming into the season, right? They should have predicted this in a way. And we talked about, like, why were they not going to schedule Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday games and Sunday, obviously. But, like, why not have scheduled that in the first place? Allow them for the flexibility. In the same way now it's hard to flex a game from like Sunday to Tuesday normally, but it would have at least opened up. You know, the other thing that annoyed me too is when they even moved the Chiefs-Patriots game last week. I wish they had made the Chiefs-Pats game earlier so that they weren't overlapping at any point. Like, why couldn't the Chiefs-Pats game have kicked off 90 minutes earlier so that you watched one game and then you watched the other?
I did see that.
It's annoying.
Apparently, they've moved the Monday game. I didn't see when the time was slated, but apparently they don't want to clash with the Saints game. So maybe they learned from that. So
that's nice for all of us in Europe, because having an earlier Monday game is a dream come true.
Jaguars at the Texans, coachless Texans. They've still given the Texans 6 points.
Coachless.
It's
not like they're just a bunch of like rebels running around the field now.
But they fired O'Brien. So
some of us would say they have been coachless for at least 2 years.
So Texans are still 6-point favorites. So what do you think?
I'm surprised by two things. Even though the Texans have looked inept so far this season, I'm kind of stunned that Bill O'Brien was the first coach fired. That does surprise me, given the people he was up against and the fact that fundamentally Bill O'Brien has consistently delivered playoff football in his time at the Texans. Now, they've had some bad playoff performances, and they're unlikely to be a playoff team this year, but I almost feel like he's getting fired more for his GM performance than for his coaching performance. Now, supposedly, right, JJ Watt kind of like confronted him on the field, basically turned on him and told him that he thought he was kind of a bad coach mid-practice. And then the defensive coordinator basically sided with JJ Watt. And obviously at the moment that happened, you're going to be gone. Like when your star player turns on you, there's no coming back. I don't know whether to feel like, why should the Texans team that's looked pretty awful so far be favored by 6 points against anyone? Or I don't know if I'm going to kind of put them in the Browns territory, where if their coaching has been so bad, do you now have a relatively talented team that cannot be worse coached in this game? And so the 6 points kind of generous. And for 1 week, I'm going to lean that way. And I'm going to assume that they, A, have a point to prove, and B, the coaching can't be as bad as it's been so far. So I'm going to take the Texans to win and to cover the spread.
So the Texans, interestingly enough, even though they're 0-4, they're also 0-4 against the spread as well. So they've basically lost every game exactly more than they should. But I don't know. The thing for me, I'm going to go with the Jags to cover the 6 here. I just think I'm not too sure about that coach thing. I don't know how much of an effect, truth be told, it has in the NFL. Sometimes in the Premier League, you have those kind of boons after a coach gets sacked because maybe bad coaching, then they're unleashed a little bit more and they can be a bit more creative or free in what they do. But looking at some of the stats for the Texans as well, against the Vikings, they only had like 4 yards a carry, and their run game is actually one of like the better things for the Texans. But also they've been sacked 16 times. And I don't know. I went with the Jags a couple of times, and I've been stung recently. But I just think it's a bit weird that the line's a -6. I thought it would be a bit closer than that. So I think on that logic, I just want to take the Jags, but I might get stung.
Well, I am now all in on the Texans. Here comes the playoff train. First stop, Houston for win 1 against a shitty Jaguars team and a shitty Gardner Minshew. I am surprised Bill O'Brien was fired, considering they lost to the Chiefs, lost to the Ravens, should have beaten the Steelers, were up pretty handedly in that game, and then just shit the bed in the second half, and then did have a pretty poor game against the Vikings. I don't know what team you could be that comes out of that first 4 games any better than 2-2, to be honest. I mean, even if the Bills were to play the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Vikings, they'd be happy to go 2-2. So how can I find it a little unfair. Granted, he hasn't been a great coach the past few years, but to be fired after that slate is a pretty rough go. But like Eddie said, I think it had more to do with he just had lost the team. And obviously, like, you know, you saw last year with DeAndre Hopkins trading him away. It's something that obviously happened there. And now, you know, that's one star. And then you have something going on with Watt. And, you know, there's been rumblings that him and Watson don't get along too well. So I think it was just more towards he had lost the handle of that team. But I think this is a great opportunity for them to start winning games because their schedule does start to get a little easier after this. So I think this is going to be their first win, and I think they're going to win pretty handedly. I think they win by 10.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. How good of a record could the Texans expect to have?
And actually, now, real quick, Eddie, before I jump the gun, having said that their record is going to get easier, after Jacksonville, they then play an undefeated Tennessee team and an undefeated Green Bay team. So it doesn't get easier yet. But I think, you know, if they can win 2 out of the next 3, then they've got a chance to really rebound this team a little.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense of a way of assessing, right, as to how good the Texans' record could have, like, how good of a record could they have expected to have had so far. When I look back on our picks, I have predicted the Texans to lose every week. And if you two had been right, they would have gone 2-2. So if you kind of look at it from that perspective, it kind of agrees with what you said, that even if you were optimistic about how good they are, they're a 2-2 team. If they're 1-3, is he losing his job? The thing is, I think fundamentally, if I am the owner, or even if I'm on the team, the Dwayne Haskins trade is why I'm out on him. I think he's losing his job as a GM.
They traded Dwayne Haskins?
I mean, sorry, not Dwayne Haskins, Hopkins. No,
what a great trade that was. They traded away Dwayne Haskins.
They just traded for Dwayne Haskins. They just traded for him. Breaking news. They just traded Watson for Haskins.
Straight up. In fact, they sent over a first-round pick with it.
Yeah, that was his parting gift to the Texans. He was like, "Oh, when am I officially gone as GM?" They're like, "You have till the end of the day." And he was like, "Hold on, let me call Washington really quickly."
Speaking of Washington and Haskins, Rams at Washington, and Rams are 7-point favorites.
Now, also speaking of people who I think have been kind of hard done by here, I don't get what Washington have done with Haskins. I don't get why you have a young quarterback, played very few. I think he's played 13 games so far in his career, something like that. You've drafted him high. I don't get how you know you're not going to be good this year. Why don't you give him the full season, have a full sense of exactly how good he is or how bad he is? Worst case scenario, he's bad, and you have a nice draft pick, and you're replacing him with the draft pick that you earned from his incompetency. But the idea that you let him play 4 games and then you pull the plug on him, so now basically he has no trade value, he has no value within the team. There's no way to bring him back. He's 3rd choice quarterback now. It's, to me, I just don't get what you're doing. Like, just keep the guy going and just keep losing games. You're not good. And so to round that off, I'm taking the Rams to cover the 7-point spread.
Yeah. So I'm also going Rams. I agree. I mean, The thing about Haskins is even when he came out, pretty much everyone had said he needs time to still develop. I mean, if you watched him when he was on Ohio State, their offense was so good that a lot of his touchdown throws and his nice throws were mostly because their running game was so good that he would get single coverage on all of his receivers. So it's a lot easier to do that, when you have a great team like Ohio State. Now you get put onto the Washington football team and, you don't have a great running game. You don't have great receivers. You don't have a great O-line. So he needed time to develop. I think the disservice to him was that they put him in too soon. He was not ready to be an NFL quarterback when they put him in. And the major issue then is this year you bring in a brand new coach with a brand new system. You don't really have a training camp. You don't have preseason. And then you're throwing him to the wolves on a shit team with a brand new playbook. There's no chance he's going to make it. I mean, I don't think there are many QBs in the league that could do that well, with no preseason, full new team on that shitty of a team. So I agree. I don't know what you do with him from here. Do you bring him back towards the end of the year? Maybe. I don't know. I'll tell you what's not the answer. Who they're putting in? What, Kyle Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah. 12 games last year he started. He had 16 interceptions. He averaged over an interception a game. I mean, no, thanks. I'm not taking that. I'll take the Rams all day.
It's also even worse, right? Because if I'm a player, a Washington player, it just seems like a head coach in Ron Rivera has come in, and he's obviously brought in other coaches along with him, other staff. And they've just ended up giving the job to a quarterback that they've worked with before, which is basically what they've done. Like they've given Haskins just enough time to lose enough games and then said,
and you can't.
Here, when Haskins, tough one for me. Hey, they've given him just enough time to lose enough games and then said, hey, we're now going to give it to this guy who we've previously worked with in Carolina. What is there to like about him?
Yeah, I mean, I think the better thing would have been to start Kyle Allen and put Haskins on the bench and say, listen, it's a brand new playbook. We didn't have much time to get you, acclimated and things like that. We'd rather you sit out the first 4 or 5 games, learn the playbook a little better, see how shitty Kyle Allen is doing, see what he's doing wrong. So maybe you can come in and correct it and then bring him in, a quarter of the way, halfway through the season and see how it goes versus starting him and then taking him out to put in a QB who sucks. I mean, he knows the offense well. Oh, yeah, great. He knows the offense well. He threw 16 fucking interceptions in 12 games. Yeah, he has a great handle on the offense. Like, I mean, that's such a slap in the face to Haskins. If they had done it the other way, I think he could at least still be a tiny bit confident versus now. I mean, this kid's done. He's done. He's the next Josh Rosen. He'll be out of the league in 2 years.
Wow.
Damn it. 2 is optimistic right now.
True.
He's third string. You have to assume right now he's third string quarterback. You then have to assume they're now going to take a quarterback in the draft next year. So he's fourth string quarterback going into next season. So he's getting cut. And also they can't cut Alex Smith, right? I actually don't know how long Alex Smith has left on his contract, but Alex Smith has a fully guaranteed like $20 million a year contract. So Alex Smith isn't getting cut as long as his deal is there.
I mean, that's what we have to hope for, right?
Yeah, one step closer to us watching us everyone panic and cringe as every single time anyone gets close to Alex Smith.
I just want to see him have a chance. I just want to see a chance. I want to see him go out there and potentially do well. It'd be so awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost the worst thing. In a way, if they'd given the job to Alex Smith, you could have spun it as like, look, this guy was the starting quarterback. He's worked so hard to get back. The team isn't going well. We need a real leader. Everyone within the team loves Alex Smith. We're going to give him a go. If it doesn't go well, then we'll give the job back. You could have spun that, and I would have actually believed that and been fine with it. But the fact that you've still not given it to him and you've just given it to a random other shitty quarterback is like, okay, this makes no sense.
Next one's pretty much a gimme. Raiders at the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are 11-point favorites. I haven't really got much to say on this one. I think it's a pretty simple matchup. So I've gone Chiefs and to cover the spread. I think the Raiders are pretty terrible. Don't know what you guys think, or if it's that close book, open book.
Well, I definitely think the Chiefs to win. I think that's a pretty safe bet. The points, it's a lot of points. We can go back to last year when the Chiefs played the Raiders and they beat them 40-9. So if we get that game again, then that spread's going to look pretty ridiculous, only being 12.5 or whatever it is. My issue is right now the Chiefs are doing that really annoying thing teams do where they seem to play down to their opponents. So they needed overtime to beat the Chargers, and then they played, 3 pretty shitty quarters against a decimated Patriots team. One could call them frail. So if that team comes out, if they keep doing that consistently, it's going to start to make me a little nervous. But I'm going to say this week, Andy Reid puts down the cheeseburger and says, listen, guys, we got to step it the hell up. This is not going to fly. And I think they come out and they put up 40+ against the Raiders and they blow them out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The worrying thing about the Chiefs right now and taking them in a big spread is the fact that they seem to be in do just enough mode. And they're kind of in cruise control. We're Super Bowl champions. We know we're going to be in the playoffs. And until we get to the playoff, like we've proven ourselves already. We've proven ourselves in the regular season. We've proven ourselves in the postseason. And for now, let's just get through this thing and we'll play when it's serious. So whenever you're taking them now in as double-digit favorites, it's a little bit concerning. The one thing I will say is this is a big rivalry game. I mean, maybe historically more than it is now, but then you still kind of get bad blood at times between the Chiefs and the Raiders players. And so for that reason, I'm going to take the Chiefs to obviously not only win, but to cover the spread. I do because I can see Sam filling in the spreadsheet as we go. And Sam had put me down for Chiefs and them covering the spread before I even started talking. So part of me feels like I should flip this just so that I'm less predictable.
I like preempting what people are saying based on what they say. So next one, Eagles at the Steelers. So Eagles fresh off a great win against the Niners, and the Steelers fresh off a longer break. So the Steelers are 7-point favorites. Eddie?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are really bad. Even in beating the Niners last week, they didn't look good, and they really they relied on an incompetent performance from Mullins in order to win that game. And they still kind of almost nearly blew it, even after Mullins had tried to hand it to them. So, yeah, with more time to rest and prepare, I'm definitely taking the Steelers, and I'm going to take the Steelers to cover the spread because, unlike Frank, I think the Steelers are a legitimately good team.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Frank, are they done?
Oh, the old Keystone State rivalry, Pittsburgh versus Philly. I love it. It's going to be a battle. And that battle is going to go to the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles outright and the Eagles to cover. Time to expose the Steelers for what they are, an average team.
I love it. I love it each week, right? We get to make I can kind of sense where I'm getting a game back or getting a game advantage. And it's almost always when someone picks a little bit too much with their heart than their head. And this is the perfect example of that.
Yeah. No one does it more than me.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. I'm going to
I also want to say one thing. Again, because I can see Sam filling in this chart. You'd originally put in the Eagles for yourself. And then Frank has picked the Eagles and you switched picks.
Wait.
You switched?
No, I didn't.
You may have written it in the wrong place.
No.
Or you wrote it in for me.
No, I wrote for you Eagles 7 as a joke because I thought you were going to be looking. So when you said the Eagles are really bad, I wrote Eagles cover the spread. It was more a joke.
So who are you taking, Sam?
I'm taking the Steelers. I think I agree with Eddie. I just think the Eagles are really bad, and I think the Steelers would have enjoyed the time off, and Big Ben's going to do some damage. So, Steelers and to cover the spread to 7. So, Eddie, Niners Nation, you're up. They are 9-point favorites against the Dolphins.
Yeah. I mean, the assumption here, right, is that Jimmy G is back and also that Mostert's back. So this isn't exactly a fully healthy Niners team and that they're still missing a number of key players, particularly on defense. But offensively, they're kind of basically getting back to full strength. On that basis, the defensive injuries continue to be a concern, but actually defensively, they continue to look good. Like even last week in losing to the Eagles, I don't think the defense was responsible for that. They kept the Eagles in check the entire game. Mullins handed the Eagles 7 points. I'm going to take the Niners. 9 points, again, feels very much right around the right point, but then I also kind of like the idea that you got Jimmy G coming back. And even though the QB controversy was kind of put to bed by Mullins shitting the bed on Sunday night, I still like the idea that Jimmy G is going to come out here and kind of say like, oh, okay, you guys thought that I wasn't the like best quarterback in San Francisco, and you guys forgot that I was the quarterback who took my team to the Super Bowl last week. Now I'm going to lay the smackdown on the Dolphins. So I'm going to
last week. Would they just go for a little joyride to the Super Bowl last week?
Yeah, they went down to Tampa Bay.
Hey, guys, come on. Let's pretend it's the Super Bowl.
He booked them all tickets. He's a nice guy. Kind of guy he is. Don't forget about this, guys. I booked us all. I chartered some planes for us. But no, yeah, last year. But yeah, I'm going to take the Niners to win and cover the spread. I think this feels like a nice matchup for them in terms of against this Dolphins defense.
When I saw this game, I looked at like the Dolphins stats and I looked at Fitzmagic, and he hasn't had one of his classic like 3 interception kind of games. So I kind of felt like that's due the very much one of those meltdown games. So I also saw that Jimmy G's back and Mostert's back. So I didn't have a problem. I didn't really have much commentary on this one either. So I was going to take the Niners and the 9-point spread.
Yeah, the cavalry is arriving, as Eddie pointed out. So they're getting their team back, I guess, right? So I think it's a very safe bet to pick the Niners to win. But the Dolphins like to keep it close. And I can't keep going against Fitzmagic. I think we're going to see a little Fitzmagic late in the game. Keep it close. Is it 8? Is that what you told me?
9.
Oh, 9. Even better. I'm getting an extra point. I'll take the Dolphins to cover. 9's a lot. I mean, 9's a lot for a team that just lost to the Eagles.
I mean, we're also forgetting here, right? There's a real subplot here. This is the Harvard battle.
Garoppolo went to Harvard?
No, Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback for the Niners.
God.
Hey, I'm just saying he plays a pretty big part in the Niners offense. And I remember going into the Super Bowl this year. Sam, you were with me to watch it. And at one moment I said, for sure, at some moment, they're going to mention the fact that Kyle Juszczyk went to Harvard because it's one of those in the same way that Fitzpatrick has to be quirky and they have to say it. And in the same way they have to say with Fitzpatrick at some point that he's an Ivy League quarterback. Kyle Juszczyk, at a certain moment, they have to say, like, Kyle Juszczyk, Harvard grad, like poli-sci, Harvard.
Why do they do this? Why is this a thing? Like, you don't really get it in the Premier League. It's not like, oh, John Terry.
In fairness, right?
Famous womanizer.
Well, they do mention the fact that his mother is a kleptomaniac.
There's a big difference between being a womanizer and going to a prestigious university.
No, but what I mean is like quirky isn't exactly like that's just a trait. Like
okay, the Fitzpatrick thing, you're right. But if you imagine, say, John Terry had gone to Cambridge, they would definitely bring that up regularly.
I don't know. I don't think they would. I just think I don't know. I find it weird for American sports how they seem to like.
I mean, back in the era
on the human.
Back in the era when cricketers went to university, which wasn't that long ago, right? Like Nasu Sane, Mike Atherton, all of them, they all went to university. Most of them went to Oxford or Cambridge because they're the 2 best universities to go to, at least at the time, for cricketing purposes. So that's where a lot of them went. That still kind of gets brought up. Even when they're in the commentary booth, you kind of get that mentioned occasionally. So I do think now, they're just not systems. Like, it would be very bizarre for Rashford to have delayed his professional football career so he could complete his degree at Oxford. But I'd have a lot of respect for him if he hadn't done that.
Yeah. All right.
He was like, I'm going to take this year off because I want to do my master's, and we'll see if I can fit in the, see
Just
if I can
ruin
fit,
his career.
if I can fit the Euros in, because I'll handed my dissertation in by then.
It'll be like Vass with the I gave up modeling, like I gave up basketball and modeling. Like, but I gave up football to do studies.
No, you can see a lot of footballers saying that though. Like, yeah, I gave up being a doctor so I could be a soccer player.
I don't think that's ever been said.
Well, it's just as truthful as what Vasilis said.
Maybe he was like a hand model or something, Vasilis.
This isn't Zoolander. Is he David Duchovny?
All right, next game. Broncos Pats. So it's obviously been moved. I didn't see a line. I think one of you, or I think it was one of you anyway, mentioned like 11 and a half was given. Do you want to work?
Pick money line.
That? Do you want to just pick money line? Okay.
Let's just pick the money line, and then we can re-pick it with the spread on Monday, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
even though the
obviously
Pats are depleted, I'm still going Pats money line.
yeah,
I'll
I'm going
keep
to go Pats to win. Yeah,
I'll keep it short, Pats.
But before picking the spread, I would like to see the extent of how many of their defensive players potentially end up missing this game. Because already, if Gilmore is going to be out, and assuming Cam Newton is out, if there are other players missing in their secondary or something, I'm going to feel a little bit less comfortable about taking them to cover a large spread. But yeah, Pats to win.
So, next game, arguably game of the week, in my opinion, would be the Colts at the Browns. I think this is one of the examples in the NFL this season of a team that is really good defensively, and that's what their signature point is with the Colts. So it's kind of one of those immovable objects in the Colts, the unstoppable force of the Browns after their Cowboys demolition. So what do you guys think? So the Colts are 1.5 favorites, and that surprised me because I'm pretty sure that swung. I think when I saw it nearer the start of the week, the Browns were 1-point favorites.
Don't think so.
I don't know if I saw it or missaw it.
I think you must have misread it. I think the Colts have been favored the entire time.
I did think it's very rare to swing like from one favorite to the other. Usually you just stay at 0.
It does happen, and we've seen it happen this year, right? Like we saw it in Rams Eagles, maybe. I think that was a game, right, where that maybe happened. But it happens. But this is a really tough one for me because the Browns might be. I think both of these teams fall into the sort of like bad good team or good bad team category, in the sort of like playoff teams but aren't that great. And the Browns in that category is probably the team I'm most optimistic about, and the Colts are the ones that I'm least optimistic about. And so on that basis, I'm just going to take the Browns to keep riding their wave, and I'm going to take them to win and obviously take them plus 1.5 points. But I definitely do not love this pick.
I have two pretty good stats for this game. Out of these two teams, one of them is the team that has the fewest explosive pass plays in the NFL. Who is it? Oh. So over 20 yards. One of them has the fewest in the league. What team?
I feel like I've seen at least 4 or 5 Browns plays over 20 yards. Not all from Mayfield, right? Because one was last week of Landry to OBJ.
Still a pass.
On that basis, I'm going to take the Colts.
No team has fewer explosive pass plays than the Cleveland Browns in the NFL.
How many do they have?
I don't know.
What a stat.
So wait. So let me get. So you saw this stat and thought, I'm not going to dig any further. I have enough.
Yeah, that's sold. I am sold on that stat alone. It's so deceiving though, because you think they're still this high flying offense, but they're really riding Bradley Chubb for a lot of their success so far. They're putting up 39 points. in the last 3 games, which is pretty
Chubb
good.
is out, right?
Chubb is
Yeah.
out, yeah.
I don't
but
think
you
that
do have
matters
Kareem
for them.
Hunt as a backup.
You have Kareem Hunt, and then also their third string running back who came in last week and
Ernest-
also looked frightening.
Ernest Johnson, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
something?
However
give you
say
one
his
more.
first name, but yeah.
All right.
Baker Mayfield's record against winning teams, 2-11. Not very convincing. And with that, I will take the Colts. Eddie, get me the Phillip Rivers IV because I want it this week.
I
want Phillip Rivers in my blood.
I'm actually thinking that Phil Rivers is going to have a good passing game this time round. He would have seen the Browns let up 500 yards for Dak last week, and he will be out for that. He will be loving the pass. But the thing is,
going to be fired up.
I just think the Colts defensively look really, really good. I mean, they only let up 2 yards a carry against the Bears. I know it's the Bears, but that's still impressive to keep it that low. They only let up 4 a carry on average this season. They only let on the pass defense about 159 yards, I think I saw as a stat. Nah, I'm all for the Colts on this one. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and Rivers is going to be throwing angel passes. So many explosive passes. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, he's going Sam Allardyce?
Okay, yeah, he's going to loft them in the air. These are going to be Hail Marys from minute 1.
I'll give you a prop bet. This is me making it up, right?
Okay.
Prop bet in this game. Over under total number of touchdowns in this game, or Phillip Rivers' children. As in, not how many children he'll have during this game.
I thought you meant as he's throwing children.
But he has 9 children. So 9.5 touchdowns. Let's say 8.5 touchdowns.
Under.
8.5 touchdowns. You're going over or under. You're going under 8.5 touchdowns.
Under.
Yeah, I'm going under as well.
Interesting.
Rivers isn't going to charge down the field, and I just think the Colts will have a lot of the ball and they'll slow it down as well. So, yeah, I'm going under. Are you going over his children?
The over-under for the game, Eddie, is 47. So,
yeah.
So that means your over-under is at least 63.
Oh no, they're not necessarily always getting the extra point, right? This is the modern day NFL, so 9 touchdowns, 3 missed extra points. I'm going under. I was just throwing that out there as a special prop.
Just like throwing his children out there.
If anyone, in the Big Chill Podcast Casino, if anyone wants to take action on that particular prop bet, they can contact us on Twitter.
All right, Eddie, I will actually give you the real total touchdowns over under for that game. 5.5.
Over.
It's pretty good, actually. 5.5. That's I think where it should be. It's tough. I'll go over as well.
I think I'll join you with the over. Frank, Giants, the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are 8-point favorites.
Ooh, get your upset alerts out, but not for this game because there's no fucking way the Giants are winning.
Good setup. You had us all on edge there.
The Giants can stop the run game pretty well, it looks like so far. That seems to be their strength on defense. But that could just be masked by the fact that teams know they can just throw the ball all over them. And besides James Bradbury, who's doing well this season, the other 3 that are out there in the secondary are doing shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dak goes for 400 this game. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win. And I think this is the game that the Giants just fully fall flat on their face. And I think the Cowboys will cover.
Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys are posting some crazy stats in offense. And even though they're terrible defensively, they're allowed to be defensive terribly against the Giants. So I think the 8 looks really good. So yeah, for me, it's the Cowboys and to cover the spread as well. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to agree with you. There's not a lot to like about this Giants team right now. Even if they were frisky last week against the Rams, kind of felt like the Rams let them hang on there a little bit. and the eventual Cooper Kupp touchdown that the Rams had to kind of sort of seal the game. They feels like they probably should have had that a little bit sooner than they did. I think this falls into the category of a must-win game for the Cowboys, even though it's week 5, and even though they're only half a game off the lead for the.
It's a must-win for the Giants too.
Yeah, it's a must-win for everyone. I mean, probably with the state of that division means that every game is going to be must-win for all 4 of the all 4 teams in that division for about the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, you could say every game is a playoff game because if you win it, you might win.
Yeah.
2 wins might win you that division.
And when you imagine we're all projecting, right, that the Eagles will, well, with the exception of Frank, interestingly enough, we're all projecting that the Eagles will lose. This is a way for the Cowboys to retake control of the division.
Well, that's depressing.
Yeah. I think this feels like even if the Cowboys, the one thing you can guarantee with the Cowboys is they score points, they're going to score 30 points. And I see nothing about this Giants team, even against a terrible Eagles defense, to make me think that they are going to be able to score 30. So it's impossible to pick them to win. And then at the same time, the 8 points probably seems fair because the Cowboys, okay, they're giving up about 40 points a game, but they're scoring 40 points a game. So by that same logic, I'd expect them to cover the spread.
Vikings at the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are 7-point favorites.
Yeah, so this really scares me because I'm looking at my predictions now, and they are completely different what I just put money on my bet. I don't know what happened there. I had the Vikings to win this outright. I'm going to have to change that now because I have a financial interest in the Seahawks. So I'm going to go Seahawks to win, but I will go Vikings to cover. Minnesota, talk about must wins. This is a must win for the Vikings. I mean, if they want to start coming back to being a contender, they need to win this game. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than people would expect it to be. And another good stat I had is people think Russell Wilson is the deep thrower. Kirk Cousins actually has thrown more deep passes than Russell Wilson. So he's looking to go deep. If he can just get Justin Jefferson to keep catching them, I think they're going to keep it close. So I'll go Seattle to win, Vikings to points.
I like that we're going to be able to coin you as like deep pass Duca on your stats here. It's like the one stat you have at hand.
Yep. Somehow it just keeps popping up.
Well, guys, I know I said that the Cousins IV bag was empty after last week, after a historic win for the Vikings and 2 weeks in a row covering the spread, and just replenished my body with all of the nutrients it needs to survive. But I am going to squeeze the final drops. In one arm, I'm going to have the fresh IV from Matt Ryan, but in the final arm, I've still got just a little bit of juice left out of Kirk Cousins. And so whilst he's not going to win this game, he is going to cover the spread. So I'm going to take Seahawks to win, but Vikings +7.
I'm still captivated by what you were saying. It's almost thrown me off. But nope, I disagree. In Russell we trust, and I was stung last week by going against the Seahawks.
How did you not just do in Russ we trust there?
I don't know. I can't be asked. It's late.
Why didn't you just let Russ cook? That's all you got to do.
Doing exactly that. So I'm taking the Seahawks, but I'm going with the spread, and I think they'll cover it. So last but not least, Chargers at the Saints, and the Saints are 8-point favorites. I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to go with the Saints to win, but I've got this soft spot. And Eddie, you were talking earlier about using your heart over your head, and that's where you can see people picking things up. I always have this thing with my picks that I like to think that the Chargers are a pretty decent team and they can cover the spreads when they do, and then they go and do what they did against the Panthers, which annoys me. But I just think the Saints feel a little inconsistent for me, and I just think 8 is a little bit too high for me. So I'm going to say that the Saints win, but the Chargers cover the spread.
So Justin Herbert is officially the starter
Yeah.
for the Los Angeles Chargers. That was announced today. While I am all over the Justin Herbert train, I'm going to go with the Saints, and I'm going to go with the Saints to cover. And this is, for me, this is the Saints are back game. And either we're going to see that, and that's going to be true. The Saints are going to be back, and they're going to win in a good fashion here, or they're not, and I am officially done with the Saints for this year. So I think this is the game that they need to start proving that they are the team that can go to the Super Bowl, go to the NFC Championship, and beat up on teams that should be beat up on, like the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to join you in a sense, the same logic. This is the litmus test of how real the Saints, because there's no reason for them to be losing this game if they are the Saints that we expected them to be. So I'm going to take the Saints to win, and I'm just going to give them one more chance to cover a halfway decent spread. So I'm going to take them to cover the 8 points.
And there we have it. Any star picks there that you want to give our listeners?
You can take Dak Prescott over 400 yards passing. I would take it. Well, actually, I'll put it this way. Whatever the over is for Dak Prescott yards, take it.
Actually, stop the podcast there for a sec.
Stop the press.
Stop.
I have my bet of the week. So I think it's worth saying that all three of us hit our bet of the week last week. So no matter which one you followed, you were a winner, including in my instance where I encourage people to do the early game threefold and then, or 3-team parlay for the Americans, and then to roll over all of those winnings into the late game threefold / 3-game parlay. Both of those won. And this time, buoyed by that confidence of hitting 6 teams in a 6-team moneyline bet, I'm just going to go straight up encourage people to do a 5-team moneyline bet this time. And this time it is Rams, Chiefs, Niners, Steelers, Cowboys, and that pays 2-1.
Frank, what wets your whistle?
Give me the Dak Prescott over yards, whatever it ends up being. So it usually comes out the day of. You'll see it pop up. Whatever the over-under are for the yards, I'm taking the over on that. I think between the Giants actually being decent in their run defense, so the Cowboys are going to have to throw a little more, and the fact that the Giants' secondary is not very good besides Bradbury, I expect at least 300.
Mine's a little bit riskier, but I do like it. So I'm going to take the Panthers just outright to beat the Falcons.
Should take that 1.5. Should take the 1.5.
I hate that you've given it, Eddie, because the gloating is just going to be so infuriating if that happens. But whatever. So I'm taking the Panthers, but I also want to take, like I said, I think Phil Rivers is going to throw. So I'd like to take the over on Phil Rivers. I think it'll be on, because he only threw about 180 last one. I think it'll probably be about 200 this time. So I want to take Rivers throwing over. I just think that Browns game, I know it's not an indicator of the past defense for the Browns, but I just think the Colts will lean on their defense really well and they'll give Rivers the arm to throw. So I'm going with Rivers over, whatever that is. I think it'll be about 200. But and then the Panthers outright.
All right. So after us being nice guys and throwing out nice tips, hopefully 3 more winners, maybe it's time to hand out the Nice Guy of the Week award, which I think this week goes to Mesut Ozil, the Arsenal player.
Namaste.
So dumb. So dumb.
Who decided to pay the salary of Arsenal's mascot after he was let go. Sam is the big, well, actually, Sam and Frank is the big Arsenal supporters. Would you like to share the name of the...
Frank, please.
Oh, Gunnersaurus Rex?
What a name. Now, could we say that maybe he is the first victim of the Duca curse?
I've taken out the mascot by having my Arsenal shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's not get carried away. I think there was about 30 to 40 other people that were made redundant on the same day that Arsenal announced a £45 million signing.
No one cares about the rest of them because they don't dress up like a dinosaur.
And wag their tail around really emphatically as they walk.
Now, here's the thing is, when Mesut Ozil's paying his salary, does that mean he's still doing the job now? Is he still going to turn up to Arsenal matches? Or is he just paying his salary and he's been made redundant? Mesut Ozil's paying him and he can go and just do another job.
So essentially, Ozil is kind of like Ozil's furlough scheme at the moment. Is that he's just paying him his wages, but he's going to do something like relax at home and I don't know, wash his dinosaur suit.
No way, absolutely not.
You think he's got to?
You put that damn suit on and you get out there. He was born to be Gunnosaurus Rex. He lives for it. This guy is so pumped that he gets to continue to be Gunnosaurus Rex. He is wagging his tail so hard out there.
Here's the problem, though. This is the problem I have, right? Is that Ozil has just been left out of Arsenal's Europa League squad. And the rumor is today that him and his agent have been put into discussions about ending the contract before January. So Gunnosaurus might come back to the job, be all happy because he's back at Arsenal. Ozil then leaves the club like 3 weeks later and they've got to make him redundant again.
Well, this is the Duca curse.
Traumatizing a dinosaur's family.
At that point, the only thing he can do is he then has to continue to pay him, but change the name to Ozilosaurus Rex, and he just becomes Mesut Ozil's personal mascot. And everywhere you see Mesut Ozil walking, like he gets out of the bus with his suit on for a match, and here comes the dinosaur behind him, like wagging his tail, just like cheering just for Mesut Ozil.
But also, like, just imagine they're at home and like him and his wife are trying to watch a movie, and you've just got this massive dinosaur just dancing next to you, just like, can we watch the film, please? Yeah.
Ozilosaurus Rex here to cheer your day up. Namaste.
Yeah, peace and love with you.
I love the image of just a personal mascot in a dinosaur costume that follows him around no matter where he goes.
I mean, I have to say, whilst I think what Ozil's done is nice, I hope that similar efforts are extended to other Arsenal members of staff who are being furloughed or made redundant, just because of the fact that just because this guy wears a mascot suit doesn't mean he should get special treatment, because in many ways he should have seen his career as a sort of real blessing in the fact that someone was paying him to do that in the first place.
That can't be a fun job though.
I don't know.
It was so weird.
You gotta be so sweaty.
Is it 27 years the guy had been there?
Oh, that's even sadder.
I know. And also, I was like, I hope they update the dinosaur suit, or is it like the same
they don't wash it.
Like the interior is so disgusting.
But it does bring us onto a good point, which is during the lockdown and games being played behind closed doors, you have had a number of teams continue to have their mascot attend games. I've been watching, for example, baseball games where the mascots still turn up, and you still have these are full adults being still paid to go and put on mascot suits in empty stadiums and sit there. And even in some stadiums, the conditions were such where they weren't even allowed into like the lower ring of seats. So these guys were sitting in like the upper deck of stadiums, still dancing like idiots just for no one.
Oh, wait, why did they have to dance?
Because every once in a while the camera would still cut to them. So he would just, you'll see they're just sitting in the seats spectating alone for most of the game. But then the camera would cut to them and they have to like start dancing or something.
I can imagine just the camera panning to them and they've got their feet up like having a cigarette through the mascot's mouth.
No, and then
they just panic and look and he just like shoves their head back on.
Yeah, just the head full on off.
I know you think this point, but I don't get mascots. Like, I don't get any sort of kind of like atmosphere that they create or euphoria or a feel-good factor watching, like, so for Arsenal, watching a fat dinosaur wave to a crowd. I just don't get it. I just look past it and I realized that there is a grown man like doing that.
Right? Let's not discriminate.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That's again hypocritical from you, but fine.
If you're a woman out there and you're currently struggling with your mental health, particularly maybe if you are a female mascot and you've just lost your job, namaste. You're strong. You're beautiful. You'll find something.
Frank, what do you think of mascots?
Well, I still want to go back to the Gunnosaurus Rex because it just cracks me up. So the other thing I wanted to bring up, if I can get it pulled up here, there was a GoFundMe page to keep the salary. And on the GoFundMe page, it said basically, let's chip in to get the money to keep Gunnosaurus Rex his job because he's had it for 27 years. It didn't say the person in the suit. It literally was just talking about Gunnosaurus Rex as if all they want is just the mascot to stay. They don't give a shit about the real person inside the suit, which makes it even better is that they're putting all the money to just keep the mascot there.
No, you want to know, do you want to really know No, before
Sam
you say
was
this.
right.
No,
okay, go ahead.
Before you say this, the really sad fact about that is that's a bunch of racist, bigoted North Londoners who simultaneously will be like, my tax dollars are not going to Syrians paddling across oceans to try and escape conflict. But meanwhile, they go, oh, I do have to give money towards this guy who dresses up in a dinosaur suit, though, because we can't have him try and find another job.
Yeah, the GoFundMe page says Gunnosaurus has been the Arsenal Club mascot for 27 years. He's a club icon and we cannot let him become extinct. So it's clearly just talking about the dinosaur and not the person.
How much money? Raised?
They had already raised almost 9,000 pounds. I don't know when this was though. That was 2 days ago, so it's probably up to 15 now. But Mesut Ozil had said it's so sad that, and then he named the person, aka our famous and loyal mascot Gunnosaurus, has being made redundant after 27 years. Yeah, so I think that person has been the mascot for 27 years. Jerry, should we get Jerry on?
Yeah, we can try. I mean, Mesut Ozil he's got a special place in my heart just because I think he has one of the best football chants. Admittedly, usually from opposition teams, but the football chants about Mesut Ozil, his eyes are offside, I think is one of the best chants. To me personally, the three that hold just a special place is the Mesut Ozil, his eyes are offside, the Chimbonda wears bananas on his feet.
I have taken so long to get that song out of my head, and now you've brought it up.
Which admittedly was affectionate and Chimbonda enjoyed, even if it was extremely racist. And then the third one was the Van Persie when the girl says no, molest her, which I think again is just incredible. For context, Frank, you only know Robin Van Persie towards the latter end of his career, but early on in his Arsenal career, he was accused of raping a girl, which was the moment at which the Van Persie, when the girl says no, molest her chant came about. And it was hard to beat.
That's pretty good. But overall, mascots, they're a strange group of things.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you. What's sadder, the mascot or the fake fan cam interaction thing? When they do the setup of the kiss cam point cuts to the boyfriend and he doesn't kiss her and then she kisses the other guy and it's all fake, it's all been paid for.
Wait, those are fake?
I don't know if you're being
Day ruined.
What is sadder?
Are they all fake?
Almost all of them are fake, yeah.
Wait, that's sadder. That's more sadder because you actually see the
Frank,
human.
are you being genuine right now?
Yeah.
I didn't think they were all fake. There had to be a real one in there once or twice.
I'm sure the first one was real, and then they thought they'd hit gold, and they've drained that well dry.
That is sadder, because at least a guy in a dinosaur suit doesn't technically have to be seen as the dinosaur. Like, he could go off secretly, get changed, no one would know what happened. It's not like he comes out and he has a tail, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're Gunnosaurus because you're deformed." So,
well, maybe he is deformed.
maybe that's why he's in the suit. He's only felt comfortable in that suit.
Well, that's the big thing about furries, right? Like, people assume furries.
Wow, we've quickly got into it now.
Wait, a furry?
Yeah, it's the people who wear like fluffy animal costumes. They dress up as animals, and often it's quite sexual.
Yeah.
Wait, stop, Eddie, stop, because you kind of like went off there, and that's one that we need to make sure is good. So,
yeah, furries. The people who wear animal suits, kind of furry animal suits, in often a sexual way. But also, as it transpires, I watched a documentary actually on them a couple days ago, oddly enough. But don't ask me how my week's going. But in the documentary, one of the things they talk about is the fact that a lot of them are autistic or have other sort of learning disorders and stuff. And so social interactions for them are very challenging. And so they like putting the suit on because it removes like the human to human aspect of it. So for example, you don't have to make eye contact anymore. And so they feel significantly more comfortable. And also it removes a lot of verbal communication because they basically all turn into like Teletubbies fundamentally. So maybe not doing my best job of talking sympathetically about it.
All I can think of anytime I hear about a furry is Entourage. That was a classic episode.
But the same way it turns them into kind of like very basic physical interactions with each other. So if you struggle to express yourself, you get to just hug people or whatever, but separated by a couple feet of fur and whatever else goes on in those suits.
The feet of fur.
Well, they're pretty
fur.
big.
It's like a whole costume. It's like they put in like a teddy bear costume.
Okay, I thought you somehow meant like a couple of feet deep of fur. Like they are.
Yeah, but they're like those thick. They're like big, like big.
It's like a
costumes,
Teletubby costume.
You know?
It's like a Teletubby costume. So if you imagine a human
feet.
Well, if you imagine how far do you think the person?
Feet, but
you would.
If you imagine the width. No, but Sam, imagine the width of imagine the belly of a Teletubby. They are by definition tubby. Now imagine the.
they're by definition tubby.
Thank you, Sherlock, for solving that one for me.
Yeah, I'm here all week, all right?
Are they also telly?
Do they have a telly in that tubby?
Well, that's less clear, in fairness. That's less clear. As it transpires, it is the case, but from their name, it is quite difficult to know that they have a television in their stomachs.
It's not that they're telepathic?
It just sounds like they're fat people who really like television.
I think of them as fat people who are telepathic.
And it's actually a projector onto their stomach rather than some sort of like human centipede style aberration where someone has born a TV into their skin.
Fair enough. Sorry, I'm not a Teletubby expert. As it turns out, you are. But anyway, you still imagine the real person in the Teletubby costume must have been probably a foot away from the edge of the costume. They were pretty wide costumes. A Teletubby costume is like 3 feet wide. The average human being is not 3 feet wide. And by width, I mean ass to the edge of their stomach, right? Not.
Why are we debating this?
This is important.
I don't know, but we can give. I know everyone loves our live sporting updates, right? And the Bucks Bears game is going on as we speak. And not that long ago, old Big Dick Nick threw an interception.
Yeah. The Bucks are driving again.
Yeah, but why am I calling him Big Dick Nick? That's his official nickname.
Wasn't it U of A?
What was it there?
I don't know, but it wasn't that. Never heard that chant from the stands.
It's not what he
Never
asked
heard the
for.
mascot. Never heard the mascot pull out the megaphone and shout that out. All right. Well, I think it's time to go watch some mediocre Thursday night football.
Namaste to all our listeners.
What could be better? Yeah.
Yep.
Namaste. I hope you all have a healthy week. That your mental state prospers over the course of the next couple of days. That you have a restful weekend. That you take all the time that you need for yourself to become a better person day by day. That you don't let the struggles and the weight of the world get you down.
It's a good word that always comes up with those types of people. Cherishing each other. Sam, Eddie, I cherish you guys.
I feel blessed to have the opportunity to speak to you a couple of times a week.
Oh, yeah. I value this partnership that we have.
All right. Well, talk to you boys later.
Namaste.
Namaste.